I want to go to Jess first. 2-0 up, cruising, easy streak, really. But in the end, just not able to get the job done 2 weeks running.
Yeah, man, they got arrogant. I think this Arsenal team in their best form, they're very expressive and they score a lot of goals and they can be quite arrogant and sometimes really like it. But this time it definitely bit us in the ass. I think when you're 2-0 up, you control the match and yeah, you still attack, but ultimately you just want to kind of pass the team to death. You want to get to halftime, reconvene, and then go again. And what I saw from the team is like first I saw by the corner flag that Shaka was like laughing and giggling because like at a West Ham player or something, didn't love that. Then Thomas Partey gets the ball, tries to flick it over Declan Rice. He runs through it. Partey stops, and then they're in on goal. Gabriel makes a mistake, and from that moment, the game was just absolute chaos. And I just think, this team is obviously still learning, but they're going to learn the hard way. Yes, we're still top of the table, but you could just see from the body language that there was a lack of belief. And I think this team has hit its wall. And these last two performances being 2-0 up, it's different when, you're 2-0 down and you come back. Being 2-0 up and dropping those points, I think mentally they're going to learn the hard way this season that in order to win a title, you cannot get complacent at any moment in time. And so, yeah, the game I think Liverpool and West Ham probably played their best football of the season in the second half of both of those games. And that's how poor we were. I was shocked to see that West Ham had 9 shots in that first half after we scored that second goal. And they, like we just completely switched off. And so, yeah, they have to look at themselves. Arteta also made his mistakes too. But yeah, hard watch. I'd be surprised. Like it feels done at this point. I can't see it. And the reaction from the players made me think that they don't believe. This is the first time this season where it looked like they didn't believe. I don't know if Man City being so strong and being able to just roll over Leicester and then us, I don't know what it is, but yeah, feels like title done. But that was a really difficult watch, and they're going to learn the hard way, because you can't be 2-0 up and then bottle it the way that they did.
I hear you on that. Gal, do you think the same? I mean, you obviously, I want to get your reaction to it. Do you feel like this is over? You've capitulated and bottled it 2 weeks running now. Give me your thoughts, bro.
Unacceptable reactions to how we come out in the second. Like, we're up 2-0. You're supposed to go and kill off the game, try to make sure you win the game and you don't do any you don't concede on the other end. But it seems like the moment we get up 2-0, it seems like we think the game's over. We're switching off 2 weeks running, lightning striking twice. We can't do that. And I'm not looking at Bukayo Saka's missed penalty, and I'm not looking at referee incidents at this point. I'm literally just going to look at it and I'm saying to myself, where is the intensity? Where is the hunger away from home? We've been so good away from home this season. What has happened? Is it that we miss Saliba that much, where without Saliba we're this bad defensively? Because the defensive errors and the defensive issues that have been in this team has shown dramatically since Saliba's gone down, and we've kind of just been grinding away with it. So I just think at this point we miss Saliba so bad. It shows how much of a good player he is. And the moment we messed up that center half partnership, it's led to these culminating issues. We knew going into the Liverpool game we would need Saliba, but against West Ham, 2-0 up. Come on, guys. Where's your heads at? These are unacceptable mistakes, defensive errors leading to these goals also. And the penalty, you know what? You can question the penalty, but we're not. Forget about that. If we even 2-1 up, we could still go and score the third and bury the game. I just feel like their heads dropped. And Mikel Arteta, he tried, bless the guy, he tried to make some changes, but none of his changes really made a difference. I felt like we held on to a little bit more possession when Partey came off and Jorginho came on, but we didn't have the cutting edge. No one really was able to do it. And after being able to walk the ball into the back of the net 2 times within how many minutes was it? 12 minutes? How many minutes was the second goal until we scored? I thought we were going to win 4-5-0, and the players probably thought that too. And that's where the lack of intensity comes from. You cannot do that. When you're up 2-0 away from home, you have to treat it like it's still 0-0 and go for that third, end the game off. That's not what we're seeing. And about title, you know what? We can continue to talk about the title every single day, but we have it in our hand. We had it in our hands. Advantage Man City. Just focus on winning the next game versus Southampton and stop worrying about City. Focus on winning the next game, because that's what's happening now. We have our mind set on the Man City matchup. Stop thinking about it. Stop worrying about it. Stop concerning yourself about it. Just focus on yourself, and you won't be doing dumb mistakes like this, because we're better than this, and it's not showing today.
Yeah, mate. Listen, I understand where you're coming from in relation to it. Tade's here with us now. A long time no speak on the terrace, my
Yes,
friend.
boss. Yes,
Um,
boss. How you doing?
yeah, I'm very well. I'm very well, my friend.
Yeah.
What did you make of it today? We haven't obviously spoke since early part of the season. You had the
Yeah.
game in your hand. You know, reaffirm your points gap. Great opportunity to work towards 9 points clear before you go to the Etihad. And just, I think as Jess said, to get that arrogant and that complacent after 30 minutes. What do you put it down to? The players? Is it the manager? A combination of both?
I think the manager has done the best he can do. He's instilled that sort of mentality into them. It's now left to them to do it on the pitch, and we've seen it across the whole season. No one believes we're going to be in this position. No one did, even myself. We were talking about Champions League this season, right? And now we're on top of the table. However, there were a few key points in that game that kind of, for me, changed it, and it was obviously complacency, like everyone has been saying. But one key point was, the fact that Partey was trying to do a lob very close to the 18-yard box. What you're doing there is you're inviting a potential recipe for disaster. I know he's done that several times. He's gotten away with it, but you trying to lob a player, at very close to your 18-yard box, what tends to happen is you're actually presenting a potential risk. Unfortunately, Rice did what he could do, got the ball. Unfortunate one for Gabriel, in my opinion. It was unfortunate because we saw he was trying to pull out. Unfortunately, his knee hit the guy, and the rest is history. The second key point for me was the fact that we missed the penalty. If Saka, I love Saka so much, he's my boy, but he missed the penalty. Simple as. If he had scored that, we wouldn't be probably saying what we're saying right now. And I think what tended to happen was after that first goal, the momentum shifted to West Ham, because we were all over them for 30 minutes. And after that goal, it was all West Ham, even into the second half. So for me, I would say that we're a bit naive for the fact that, yes, we're 2-0 up, and we became complacent. We're inputting that extra intensity that we knew Arsenal for the whole of this season, and I felt we've done ourselves here. And what's really scary is the fact that we've got probably worse fixtures than Man City. So right now we've handed the momentum across to Man City, because I think we've still got Newcastle, we've got Man City themselves, and we've got Chelsea. Those are three tough games. I think the only tough games that Man City do have is Chelsea and ourselves. So right now the momentum is in the hands of Man City, and it's on the mountain, people. Simple as.
Yeah, I mean, I think the points you put out there are massive. I know we're gonna get everyone's view on the games, but I wanted to bring up the penalty because I think most people would agree the foul is a foul. I think most people would agree with that. Yes, he tries to pull out, but he catches him. Should it have been given? Was there a handball, Dodds, in the build-up to the play? Should this have been brought back by VAR, in your opinion?
I think it should have been pulled back. Honestly, I didn't see this angle when I was watching the game. I didn't think it was a handball. I thought it was in his chest. But now that you show me this picture, maybe they should have seen this and pulled it back, because apparently it hit his hand from that picture. So they should probably have pulled this back, because it led to a penalty. Let's be honest.
Yeah. What about yourself, Souls? I mean, do you think it was the penalty should have stood? I'm seeing a lot of talk online that it shouldn't have done. So I thought I'd ask it as a question to the panel today.
I'll be honest, I don't really care, because you should not be doing stupid things on the edge of your box like that when you're 2-0 up. When we should be cruising. Now, it's a 50-50. Another day that could have been disallowed. Today they allowed it, and they continued to play the game. Now, I don't blame Gabriel for it. A lot of people are blaming Gabriel for the way he went in. Now, Partey should not have done what he's doing. For me, I get it. I know I've had a discussion with Kesh on the group chat as well, and I'm not blaming him for the loss. I'm not saying it's all on him, but the reality is, when you're 2-0 up, you've got to manage the game better. I expect so much better from Partey. When we're giving him shouts of being a world-class player, when we're saying he's on the levels of Rodri and Casemiro, them kind of decisions shouldn't be happening. He should not be trying to flick Declan Rice when he's coming right at him and in the direction of where he's trying to flick it. You're not trying to do it against a player who's a lot smaller, where you can easily get it over their heads. I just think it's disappointing. I'm not sitting here. I don't care. People want to sit there and blame the ref. They need to have a hard look at themselves, because we need to stop deflecting from the blame and actually look at the player who made the mistake. And that's how I look at it. It's a mistake from Partey, not from the referee. And even if they did disallow it, he should be learning from that now. And that's how I don't think it was handball. It's definitely a penalty, and we deserve to concede that way.
I hear you. How about yourself, Gal? Do you agree with that?
110%. Terry, I don't care anymore about that referee decision. We had a chance to get justice back, and we got a penalty ourselves. So it is what it is. It canceled each other out in that moment. We had to do better. There's no referee decision that we can say is the reason why we drew this game or we dropped points in this game. It's on ourselves. It's the definition of defensive lapses that keeps causing us these goals, not the referee. But hey, I was upset in the moment because I said to myself at that moment in time, when I was watching the game, you could say, you know what? Maybe you should have reviewed it and looked at it differently. But at this moment in time, after the result, in the grand scheme of the game, it had no influence.
I hear you on that. There's a super chat here. I want to go through some of these just out of interest of time. It says, we've called this team mentality monsters. Arteta needs to show us more. We bottled this game. Stinker. Zinchenko is key. Well done, KT and Arteta. We've got TBG here that's sort of calling you out as bottlers. He's an Arsenal fan himself. And a lot of people celebrating Zinchenko being out. And I wanted to bring that up because I saw it in the group chat earlier this morning. I didn't really know what it was about. But what is this going on? What is this obsession between the Arsenal fan base of Tierney's better, Zinchenko's better? Me watching from the outside, I've seen the team do the same thing 2 weeks running with and without Zinchenko. And ironically, this week you did it against a relegation team and not Liverpool at Anfield. Like, what's all this about?
I mean, it's just we always have to have somebody versus somebody. There's always an agenda running. There's always something. And usually it's the player that's been dropped, ends up being the person that's fantasized by, like, from the people that don't like Arteta. So that person's not playing. So Arteta doesn't know what he's doing. That player should be in. The player that's in his position is not good enough. And this season it's been Tierney versus Zinchenko. And the revisionism on Tierney, for me, has been a very difficult thing to watch, because we've sat here on these streams and talked about Tierney stripping before as well. 1v1, I've seen Mahrez give him the blues. So Tierney is not, you can be just because you're a better defender than Zinchenko doesn't make you a good defender. Tierney works hard. Sometimes he gets last-ditch tackles in. He was okay today. But as you saw on the ball, if you have Thomas Partey as the only person that's controlling possession from deep, because you don't even have Saliba, then it's really easy to stop the supply line into the forwards. And that's what happened today. So Tierney's not a bad player, but just like Pepe last season, where there was a section of the fan base that decided Saka wasn't good enough and Pepe needed to be playing, it's just Tierney versus Zinchenko this time. But like, if we didn't have Zinchenko, we'd be nowhere near what we are. Because first of all, Tierney can't stay fit. Okay, let's not revise things. He cannot stay fit. And the only reason why he can play is because Zinchenko's starting. If we didn't have Zinchenko, we would not be where we are right now. So I don't know. Tierney was okay today. I didn't think he did anything spectacular, anything that you could say, whoa, good job. Like, that's the reason why we were playing better, because we didn't play better with Tierney. We did the exact same thing, but it's Tierney because Arteta's not playing him, and people that don't like Arteta have got to have an agenda running. It's ridiculous.
Listen, I really don't care about people's agendas, Terry. It is what it is. People are going to have their agendas. It's social media. People are going to have their agendas. If we're going to be rational here and actually have a real conversation, Zinchenko missing, yes, we missed him based on the control that we could have of the game. But in the run of the game, with the team that we had out there, we should still be winning. I don't care what anybody says. It's not about players missing. It's not about that. If any player you're going to mention that's missing, it's William Saliba. So why are you calling for Kieran Tierney saying, oh, he's the one that's missing? The reality is, since William Saliba's gone out of this team, we've conceded more than a goal per game. Before William Saliba was in this team, we were conceding less than a goal per game, literally like 0.9. I've seen the Opta stats. So stop complaining. It's the wrong player you're talking about. And on top of that, stop having a weak mentality. Every single time we drop points, people are saying it's done, it's over. I get it. It's very emotional. It's up and down. But right now, we don't know. City could still drop points. Even though they don't look like dropping points, we just need to control ourselves and continue to win and bounce back and win the next game. Unfortunately, we didn't do it this game. And Terry, you said bounce back, and a lot of people are saying bounce back. We needed to win this game. The magnitude of this game being a draw, 2 points dropped again. That's 4 points. That's in 2 games. If I would have told you guys we're going to drop points against Liverpool, maybe you would have been okay with it. But if I told you we're going to drop points to West Ham 2 weeks ago, you wouldn't have believed me. It's ridiculous, honestly, unacceptable. And people are going to sit here and say, "Oh, I'm making excuses for the players. Or I'm making excuses for." No one's making excuses. Get out of your head. No one's making excuses
So
today. We
what
lost. It's our
what,
fault.
yeah, but what do you
We
put it down?
Our draw is a loss. That's what it is. A draw is a loss to us at this point.
What do you put it down to though, Gal? Because some are blaming players, some are blaming managers, some are saying mentality. But what's the root cause of that? Some think has to be the cause of those things. What is it?
Multiple things. Pressure moments, players not stepping up. We don't have what do you call it, the experience in this team that have done that to the level of a Jesus and a Zinchenko. So when Zinchenko's in the team, yes, he brings more experience to the team. So maybe a little bit more pressure is getting to us. And in that pressure moment, Bukayo Saka missed a penalty. The team's whole head dropped, and no one picked up the ball and said, "I'm winning this game." Before, we've had moments where we would see people like take a long shot versus Aston Villa, or we see somebody go and say, "You know what, F it, I'm just going to take it." But whenever we were in a goal-scoring situation, you'd see players hesitate, take an extra touch, take an extra moment, and that just comes down to their Tim not being able to handle the pressure. I think you can say whatever you want to say, but that's my opinion. I think at this moment in time, the pressure is starting to get to them, and they're taking an extra touch, they're taking an extra moment, they're second guessing themselves, and sometimes things that would just be easy, a simple pass to Odegaard, you overthink it, and now you're making a bad pass.
No,
But
do you know what it is? Even before, I don't even think it's. I think they believe their hype. The hype that we've given them, the confidence we've given them, the support we've given them has gotten to their heads. Because when you're 2-0 up, even against Liverpool, we did this. So we're now seeing it 2 weeks in a row where you're 2-0 up, and guess what you do? You stop playing your game. It was reverting back to what we've seen last season, the season before. Arteta screaming at them to start picking up the intensity. We keep seeing the same signs of this old Arsenal. Arteta screaming at them, "Come on, guys, get on the ball, control this game." And what do? Start playing it long. We're not Stoke City. We can play football. We need to stop going route one every single time something goes against us. Look at Partey, look at Xhaka, look at even the likes of Holding. Every time they get the ball, when we lose control of games, they went long. They kept going long. They were looking for Saka. They were looking for Jesus. They were looking for Martinelli. Rather than looking next to them and going, "Do you know what? Let me make the simple pass. Let me control this game. Let me bring some, peace to the chaos." When Jorginho came on, I do think we had a lot more control of the game, and that's what we needed earlier. That's why I was more disappointed with Partey in that first half, because I expected him to just get his foot on that ball and kill this game, the tempo off. And even Odegaard, he doesn't go away. There was moments in that game where I was like, okay, I'm starting to see signs of him coming back. And then he lost his head as well, starting to run at players when he should have passed it. Saka doing the same thing. And I do think there's a part of it where they've become a bit complacent. They've believed their hype, and there's too much confidence, and it's over cockiness in certain areas of the game.